Well, hello, I'm Josh, and I am back once again with another great film to tell you about. And so, for the past, year, I've been talking pretty strictly American films. I do Black Narcissus is a British film, but it's pretty much English speaking. And I wanted to mix that up a little bit, so today I'm going to be talking about Yasujirô Ozu's 1959 classic Good Morning. So Good Morning is about two brothers living in a small town who want their parents to buy them a television set. When the parents refuse, saying they talk too much, the boys take a vow of silence and protest until their parents give in to their demands. So as I said, this film was written and directed by Yasujirô Ozu, who is considered to be one of Japan's greatest directors. And though he did make several crime films in his early days, he's generally known for his films that deal with the family drama. But unlike some of his more critically praised films like Tokyo Story, An Autumn Afternoon, and Late Spring, which are much more serious films, Good Morning is actually a comedy. And with it, Ozu even delves a little bit into, what we would call lowbrow humor, which of course is interesting since Ozu is such a highly respected director. But really with this film, it's all about communication, whether that be talking, hand gesturing, or, other things. And within it, the kids keep asking this question of why the need for the filler talk, I guess you could say. Words and phrases that have no real reason other than to appear polite. Phrases like, how are you, oh nice weather today, and the title of this film, Good Morning. And it also touches a little bit on the shifts in communication with the introduction of television into this small town. And though at the time TV was not nearly as widespread as it is today, of course, you can still hear several of the neighbors griping about the new technology in kind of anticipation of this cultural change.
誰だったかテレビなんてものは一億総博士家のもとだなんて言っていますしね。
ああ、それか。けどそれは何のことです？
いや、日本人がみんなバカになるって言うんですよ。
ああ、それはえらいこと言えるな。
Though within the film, there's only actually one person in the neighborhood that's shown to have a TV. So the film seems to show more of a snapshot of life just before the introduction of TV and just how that changed life as we know it today. And one of the things I really enjoyed about this film that I haven't really seen a lot of people talk about is the soundtrack and just how it adds to the humor of the film. I mean, a large portion of it is just this kind of light, calming, peaceful, kind of fun music that it plays through. It feels almost like that of a Jacques Tati film, if you've heard of him. But further than that, the music changes throughout the film. It goes from this, like I said, kind of peaceful sound to this almost like crime, like spy thriller music. Specifically when the mothers start gossiping and kind of the drama starts between them. And it's overall what's pretty petty stuff, but the film is really showing it from the mother's perspective, so of course it's a huge deal. And Ozu's using the music to kind of point out the humor and just how serious they're getting about all this. And to further go along with the theme, most of the drama is directly related to miscommunication. So I think Ozu is also showing that even without television or any kind of media to distract us, people can still have trouble communicating. In this case, they're shown to not express their genuine thoughts and feelings towards someone in order to avoid confrontation with that person, yet they are more than happy to speak candidly about that person behind their back.
そんな人かしらね、あの奥さん。そうよ、そうなのよ。私びっくりしちゃった。まさかと思ったけどね。そう。気許しちゃダメよ。小さい子たち根に持つんだから。そうかもしれないわね。
I just find this film to be a great one to watch on, say, a Saturday afternoon. It's a very light and relaxing film where you feel like you are just observing this moment in time with all the funny interactions between characters that you'd expect in a small town. And though it does deal with family drama like most of Ozu's films, this one just feels a little lighter and more playful, so I feel like for that reason it's a little easier for people to get into if they're not quite as familiar with his work. His films are generally pretty slow, so I feel like the added humor and just the nice color photography really help make this film a lot more accessible for people who don't normally like to watch older films with subtitles. And now that actually brings me to the cinematography. Now, as I've been playing some of the clips from the film here, you have likely noticed that the visual aspect of his films have a certain style to it, and this look is a pretty common trait to Ozu's films. He was actually very much about going against the grain in terms of how his movies were shot. Whereas most filmmakers work very hard to add depth to the image, often by shooting at angles or leaving the background out of focus, Ozu's style often led him to make the images look as flat as he could. And I mean, he has certainly made some beautiful images. In fact, I'm sure you are noticing some similarities between his cinematography and that of director Wes Anderson. Though I feel like lately Anderson has been taking this idea of symmetry to a whole nother level. Ozu does in fact have several shots that are taken at an angle, but even then it is still pretty clear that he is very intentional on his framing. He was even known to move objects around on a set to compose the perfect frame, even if it didn't make for correct continuity in other shots. And so if you'd like to watch Good Morning, it's available from all the usual streaming sites as a rent or buy option, as well as being able to stream if you have the Criterion Channel or HBO Max. And once again, you can get a great physical copy through the Criterion Collection. And along with the great looking artwork, it also has some cool bonus features as well. It has an interview, a film essay, along with a whole other Ozu film, that being I Was Born But. And they do give some context for it in the interview, but that film was actually somewhat of a precursor to Good Morning. It has several of the elements, like the two younger brothers who are protesting against their dad. And I found it overall just to be a pretty funny film. Now I will say it is a silent film, so it's probably not going to attract everybody, though since it's Japanese you already are reading subtitles, so I don't know if it's that big of a change, but regardless, its inclusion in this makes for a really cool release and almost like an Ozu starter pack, I guess you could say. If you want to get into Ozu but you don't really know where to start, I'd say Good Morning is a good jumping off point. Alright, so the comment question: what is your favorite film to relax to? Like I said, part of the charm of Good Morning is just how laid back it is while still managing to be pretty entertaining. So I'm wondering, what are some of your favorite films that you put on just to kind of relax and enjoy? Ones that don't necessarily have high stakes or lots of tension and are really just fun to watch. Be sure to put some of your favorites in the comment section down below and start discussing. Hit the like button if you enjoyed this video, and subscribe if you want to see some more of these. Be sure to keep watching movies, and I will see you again soon.